My name is Pedro Perez, and I work here with Medical Cadet Corps. And what Medical Cadet Corps is, kind of where I'm going to take you on a journey tonight, just to give you some brief history about Medical Cadet Corps, then what it is in Florida, and then we're going to go through about some different opportunities and share one specific one coming up in June. So I'll have a list that I'd like to share with you. I'll share my screen a couple different times tonight. But we would just like to help you understand more about what Medical Cadet Corps, or MCC, is. So Medical Cadet Corps started back in the 1930s, believe it or not, on a college campus in Nebraska, the middle of the United States. And one thing that they found was there were a lot of young people in the colleges that were not prepared to help medically within the military branch. So if you 1930s, if you remember your American history, world history, you have World War II coming up. And so there were a lot of young people in colleges that weren't prepared to go to the military when the draft came and be prepared to help medically. A lot of those people helping medically were helping medically simply because they didn't want to bear arms. They didn't want to carry a gun and shoot other people, but they said, we understand we need to serve our country. So they did it through Medical Cadet Corps. That's where they started. So they learned the language, the structure, the discipline of the military, and they also combined it with the knowledge of medicine. So many of those young people served as medics in the military. So they patched people up, they drug them off of the field, and they brought them back to the hospital, and they took care of them when they were in the hospital. That's kind of the beginning of MCC. For Florida right now, we started a year ago. Imagine that. We launched right in the middle of COVID-19, and we said we want to create a place for young people to feel like they can belong, a place that they can connect to a family, and a place that they can serve other people with. So if you want to be a part of something where you can connect to other young people, where you can connect to other adults, and you can do it through service, this is what we would like to recommend to you is MCC. Here in Florida, what we've done is said MCC will be able to serve within our network and community, but also in a much bigger network and community, and that is the government, right? So places like the fire department, places like the emergency disaster relief, places like that, and other things like FEMA. I don't know if you've heard of FEMA, but when there's a hurricane, FEMA comes in from the government and gives money. FEMA also organizes places where people are served and help, whether it's making food for them, whether it's setting up disaster shelters, or whether it's providing medical service. We also are connected to CERT, which stands for Certified Response Team. So when there's a disaster, the team of people that are MCCs are getting that training and able then to go help. So as you can imagine, Florida is a place right in the middle of a lot of storms and natural disasters. In fact, coming up here, June 1 is the official launch to the hurricane season. Hurricanes bring destruction and disaster, and they also put people in trouble, right? Like people who lose their homes, or the tornadoes that spin off after hurricanes. If you're new to Florida, that's kind of what you got to look forward to, right? They have the beaches and the sun and all that, but there are also some natural disasters that can wreak havoc in people's lives. So here's what we're suggesting to you. When you see the news about a hurricane, or you see the news about people with a disaster, or maybe there's a flood somewhere, and you say, man, I wish I could do something to help. Like, I wish I could make a difference somewhere. Many times you'll see those areas are blocked off with yellow caution tape, right? Kind of like, you can't cross this line. Like, this is for people who know what they're doing. Well, with the training that we're offering you, with the training that we're trying to make available to you, you can actually get on the other side of that yellow tape. Can you imagine that? So if you want to help, you would be connected to MCC, which is connected to those organizations, which then allows you to go and do the good that you want to do. We believe that humans are hardwired to want to do good, to make a difference, to live for a higher purpose than just themselves, right? More than just, I'm doing things to make me feel good. Oftentimes the best remedy when we don't feel good is to do something for other people. And in that service, in that reaching out and helping, that's where we find we get purpose and meaning for our own lives. Maybe that's why you've chosen the medical field, because somebody in the medical field reached out to you and said, hey, I'll take care of you. And that felt good to you. And you were like, I want to do that for people. I want to be an extension of what the Florida Hospital motto is, the healing hands of Christ. Like, I want to be a part of the team that helps people get better. And so when people are at their worst, that's where we're inviting MCCs to show up to help bring our best to bring out better situations for those people. So a case in point, a quick example, coming up here in June, there's an opportunity for MCCs who are registered to do just that, do a mission. Now, this mission is right here in Central Florida. It's local. It's at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. When you think fairground, depends where you're from, you might think like pigs and chickens and cows and all that stuff. And sometimes the fairgrounds does that, but the event we're going to is more of an open air concert over the weekend. So we're going to be with the fire department, actually, for Central Florida, Orange County Fire Department. We are partnering with them to help them put up a portable hospital, an inflatable hospital. I've never seen one. Actually, that's not true. I saw one back in January at another event we did at the air show in Sanford Airport, where similar idea. People that come to a mass event, sometimes they don't drink water that morning. They're out in the sun all day, and guess what? They pass out. They have a heat stroke, and they don't know where to go. So in this case, instead of sending them to the hospital and flooding the hospital emergency rooms with people who are dehydrated or drank or put something in their body that they reacted to and threw up, they're going to triage them there in that inflatable hospital on the campgrounds of the Central County Fairgrounds. So medical cadets will be there. Again, this is an opportunity to serve. And if you want to serve at that event, I'll go through a list with you here in a moment, but this is where if you have no skills, if you're new to the college, new to this whole medical thing, and you don't really have a license to do anything, well, we still need people to help set up the tent, the inflatable tent. We need people to help move things around. We need people to help register and check in people who feel sick, take information from them. Depending on your skills and certifications that you've already developed, there's opportunities to actually get involved on the medical side, right? To care for patients, to take vitals, to begin to look at them, to assist the doctors as they're doing things. So there'll be a full medical team that's there. We're there to support that team and do whatever the person who's there has the ability to do. Again, if it's take notes, if it's register people, if it's carry cases of water, if it's set up a temporary tent, or if it's to take vitals. So those are the kinds of opportunities that we're looking for. I did to give to you. I did mention earlier that we went to the air show. I don't know if any of you like airplanes, but that was pretty cool. They also set up an inflatable tent there back, I think this was in January of this year, and people came to the air show. And there were expecting, in a normal situation, like 30,000 people. In this case, they only had 12,000 people that showed up. But those are the kinds of things that we'd like to connect cadets to. Opportunities to serve, opportunities to make a difference with people who are in need. And whether that's at an event like the county is doing, whether it's at an event air show that another group is doing, or whether it's an opportunity to go serve in a disaster. So let me share with you real quick a screen. I want to go over some of those details with you that I was sharing with you now. So I want you to see this. So we've kind of created a next steps for Advent Health University students. And this is it. If you're interested in MCC, if you want to get more, if you want to register, if you're ready to jump in, the first thing you would do is go to our webpage. And there is the webpage there. I also put it in the chat. Follow the website in the chat, because this website, they've been redoing our website and they still haven't finished linking it properly to this shortened version. But I did post in the chat the website, and I can do that again here towards the end. And you'd click on the Join MCC button. So this is somebody who wants to get involved, who knows that this is something they think they'd like to check out. And then once you get in there, you'd click the button to start an email, and that's an email that we can give you more information and help you get registered. The process, it takes some time. Most of it's fairly quick, but I think that it would be good to let you know that there are some things that you do have to do if you want to become a cadet. And the reason this is relevant is if you want to serve at this event, which is coming up here in June, some of these things would have to be done. And one of those requirements would be a background check. And there are links and instructions to how to do that on the webpage, on that Join MCC button. And this can take 3 to 5 days. So we won't be able to take anyone who's not completed that on a mission. And that's what we call what's coming up in June as a mission. The details about that June mission are here again on the screen. If you're on your phone, sorry, this will look pretty small to you, but I'm going to go over it with my voice as well. So the June mission is at the Central Fairgrounds, like I talked to you about. The dates are June 11 and 12, and the mission is setting up a 32-bed inflatable hospital, and there will be teams of 5 that help with each section. So there is a setup time on Thursday, June 10, 9 to 5. There are 2 shifts available each day, Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 or 5 p.m. to 12. So you'll notice there's an hour overlap just to kind of transition. If you're in the medical world, you know what giving report and handing the shift from one to another person is all about. But Friday and Saturday are 2 shifts, 11 to 6 and 5 to 12. So if this looks like something you'd like to do, and if it looks like you'd want to be a part of MCC, this is a mission that's coming up fairly quickly here. There is a deadline. I'm sorry, before I go there, Monday, June 14, 9 to 5, that's teardown. So if you feel like you've got time on Thursday or Monday and want to help set up teardown, that's more your deal. We're looking for help. If you're more of, no, I actually want to be there with people, like I want to help people who are fainting, or I want to help get people over to an ambulance so they can get transported because it's something more serious, those shifts would be more of what you're doing, 11 to 6 or 5 to 12. Everyone who participates in this mission would have to be a registered cadet. So you'd have to go through that process of join MCC. You'd have to be cleared with your background check. And we would want you to make sure you came with solid walking shoes that were closed-toed, jeans or cargo pants, and an event t-shirt will be given to you. We also recommend that you have head cover. If you wanted to go through and purchase the basic uniform and get the black boots and the Navy BDU, like that would be optional. But the deadline to sign up is May 31. And I'm going to pause for a moment. So there's a lot of stuff in the chat. Okay, good. That's Kendra putting her name on here. Good, good. Yeah. So you're just putting your names there. Good. Thank you, Kendra. And welcome to Kendra. She's been our leading lady, so to speak, as she helps us make this connection with AHU. So that's one thing I wanted you to see. Hey, Kendra.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to check in. What I realized was that the link to this meeting tonight was accurate in that letter, and in the email that we had corresponded with, that link, which is the one I put out to, I think most people, was not accurate. So I was sending an email to all students saying we need to maybe reschedule this, and thankfully I got into this meeting, and it looks like a lot of our students actually followed your letter, which makes me glad that everyone was reading your letter. So,
okay. Yeah.
Folks, I am needing your last names, just so to be clear, because I will make sure that your program chairs and your faculty know about this opportunity. So I need to know which programs you're in, and that's why I need your last names to look you up. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now and turn it back over to Pastor Pedro. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kendra, and I appreciate you sharing that. And Kendra, this is being recorded, and I think we'll share this recording with you. So if anybody else wants information or general idea, they could pull information from there. So very good. So there's a question coming in the chat. I love it. I've already done my background check. What should I do now? How do I register for this event? So let me share that with you. So if you are convinced that this is something you want to do and you're ready to jump in and be a part of it, let me share the actual website with you, and that will help kind of walk you through the steps. So I've been sharing with you that the website is MCC, right? Medical Cadet Corps. And if you come down here, there's a link here. It's Advent Health University students. And this was the letter that we issued and we handed out to you while we were on campus when we were doing the tabling. And then this is the big button. If you're ready to do this and you say, I want to be a cadet, I want service opportunities, I want to jump in, this is for me, then you would click on that view more. And once you got to the view more, this is where it would say how to become a Florida Conference MCC member. It's a checklist. So then you'd go through. We'd ask everybody who considers this to say, hey, is this something that even God, my higher power, wants me to do, right? Contact us. And you would click here. That's where you would generate the email. And that's where you would get a lot of stuff sent to you. Then down here, this is the screening verification. That's that background check. Here's the guide to filling that out. And here's one of the things that's really cool. It's a link to register with FEMA. Like I said, FEMA is a nationally recognized government agency that helps in federal emergencies, right? So this would give you a federal emergency state ID or student ID. That's the SID. Here are the steps on how to register for that. Everyone that becomes a cadet needs to be registered with FEMA. And again, that gives you access to training. So one of the things we haven't talked about is the training side. I'd like to spend a little bit of time on that, but this is how, if you're ready to go, if you've done a background check, we would need you to complete this background check. So it would be an additional background check. We can't just take whatever background check you did. It has to be this one, but the steps will walk you through that. So let me share with you kind of this part. Like, let's say that you're ready to become a cadet. You come to the website, you click on the Join MCC, you say, man, this is what I want to do. There are a couple ways to approach this. One way is to come on and join us just to do missions, right? Just to go out and go on different opportunities to serve. And that's one way to do it. And we're happy to have AHU students join us at that level. What we'll do is we'll send you out what are called in MCC alerts. So it's a mission alert. So whenever you get an alert in your email, we'd have your email because you're registered, you're a part of us, you're an official cadet. We'd send out an email alert to all our cadets, which is what we've already done for those that have registered, about this mission in June and about future trainings that are happening and about other missions that come up. And that's where you would reply to the orders. You would say, yes, I want to be on this mission, and you'd fill out all the paperwork that says you want to be on the mission, and you'd tell us how to contact you and when you're available and all those details. So that's one level, joining MCC just to have service opportunities, just because you want to get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, you want to make a difference in the world and do good. Like, that's one level. There's also another side to MCC where you become more intentional and more intentional about growing as a cadet. So in terms of FEMA, all those classes, like you register with that government ID, that also gives you a chance to take a whole library of classes, many of which would probably be pretty basic to you, but there's all kinds of structure stuff. So like when we go to the mission in June, there's a thing called an incident commander, and this is the person who's in charge of that event. So we say, who's in charge here, right? Well, they have a name and they have a title. Taking that basic FEMA class would help you to fit better into that language and better into that structure. And then there are advanced level FEMA classes, which are teaching you about how things work, about how to set up a command center, about how to distribute your people and get things organized, how to work with other agencies. So that's one level. And then there are other classes called CERT, which is, again, that certification for emergency relief. The people that we take with us on missions, the doors open wide because there's usually a wide variety of things that could be done. Like I mentioned to you, if it's just carrying water and you want to be a pair of extra hands, we're more than happy to have extra hands because there's always stuff to move and stuff to set up and tear down. But if you want to go through the certification and you want to be qualified for more and more ways, it only opens more and more doors for you to serve. One of the trainings that we did while at the event in January at the Air Force, at the air show at the Sanford Airport, one of the trainings that the fire department gave to us was, how do you decide who gets help at a disaster? So they said, we're here at an airfield. Let's just imagine worst case scenario, one of these planes crashes. What if it crashes into the crowd? And we're all like, oh my goodness, like that would be a terrible disaster. And they're like, yeah, it would be, but would they need help? Would the people that just got crashed into, or would the plane that just crashed with people, would those people need help? Absolutely. And they started walking us through. They had a little tag, and I've never seen that tag before. It was a tag that has a green section of all the way down to black. And if it's black and that's the tab that's torn, guess what? That person doesn't need help anymore because they're not alive. If they're green, then you tell them, everybody who can walk away from this incident, anybody who can walk away from this disaster, please walk to my left. And you point in that direction. And you give all those people a green tag. That says, these people most likely aren't going to die. At least there's no injury that prevents them from moving. And so you just go through and you categorize people so that then as the medical professionals come, they can start to say, here are the red tags, the orange tags. These people need help first, because if we don't get there, their life might be lost. So that was all exciting to say, those are the kinds of things that we can learn to be able to help and do good for other people. Coming up here in June, there will be a training also. It might be, I think it's July, sorry. The training is in July. So what kind of training do MCCs do? If you want to get more involved in MCC, one of the trainings we'll do is called a litter training. A litter training isn't anything to do with cats and their litter box. Litter training is specifically about how to carry people on a stretcher. The stretcher is called a litter. And so you might think, well, I got this, I know how to do this, but I don't know about you, it's not so fun being on a stretcher and having people carry you. Like you can feel like you could fall off, or you could feel like they're not even. And so we train you, and this will be part of our training in July, to know how to do a litter transport of someone who's injured in a remote area. Maybe the ambulance can't get there. Maybe it's a disaster like a hurricane in Florida, and there are people far away behind debris lines that need to be carried out to ambulances to get transported. So we do training on how to do a litter carry through debris where you're crawling on your hands and knees. How do you move a litter? How do you move a stretcher? How do you do it when the ceiling is low? If you got to crawl under something, how do you do it if you have to climb over something? How do you do it if it's an incline or a decline? Because all those things matter in how you maneuver the litter. So that's one example of some of the trainings that we'll do on site when we get together for training. Some of it independent on your own. You go through the FEMA classes, you go through the CERT classes, or you can join together with other cadets and do that jointly, or you come together to the training events and you jump in and we all train together. So that's more of, I'm in this thing, I want to grow as an MCC, I want to get more and more skill, I want to be more and more helpful, more useful. And as you do that, you grow in your rank as well. Like you go from private up, up, up. And so your rank just says, now I have more information so I can serve more. I have more training so I can serve better. And that's what we want to offer as well. So the two things I'm offering tonight, MCC, join us, sign up, go to the join MCC button and say, I just want to do service stuff whenever I have a chance and whenever you're doing alerts or missions. I want to be alerted so I can say I can come or I can't come and I'll join. That's one level. The second level is, you know what? This sounds exciting to me. Like I want to have this kind of family to belong to. I want to be a part of this kind of training where I'm getting real skills with other people. I want to have a practical way to take whatever skills I have and actually help people. And I want to do that in bigger and bigger ways. So I'm going to do the training. I'm going to go through the CERT, go through the FEMA, attend the trainings that happen live, and that will help me be more prepared to serve. So that's the big thing. And then, as I mentioned, we do have coming up that event here in June, which the deadline to register for that is May 31. And you've got to be through that loop of background check and all that stuff. So that's a little bit of a quick thing. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to rush you. There'll be other opportunities to serve later. So I don't want you to feel pressure. You need to do this because you think this is something that would be a great thing for you to do. And you think it would be an opportunity for you to serve others and do good. So having said that, I did see a question in the chat, and the question is, could you place a website for MCC in the chat? Yes, I'll do that. And if you want to be a part of the training, so the trainings happen basically quarterly, and usually it's on a Sunday, and usually on that Sunday, it's a pretty full day. So it's like 6 to 8 hours of training. And so it's more than just a basic thing where it's come for an hour and you're done. I did repost the site in the chat, so you can go there, click on the join MCC, and that will get you in and you'll follow the instructions. And then that will alert us. We'll know that you're going there. Great question. Are there annual fees? There are not annual fees. There are some things that you would need to purchase in terms of uniform, just like anything else. You have a uniform that identifies you. Like I'm wearing the shirt, the MCC shirt. It's a $10 shirt. We do ask that you get black boots just because it's part of the uniform, and navy blue BDU, which is really cargo pants. And with those basic things of the pants, the shirt, the boots, there are also some logos. If you go up and get what's called a blouse, it's really like a jacket. That term always throws me off, but they call it a blouse. It's really like a light jacket where you put more logos on there. So that altogether, the uniform costs, that's not something you have to do right now to serve. And for this mission in June, we're saying that if you just came with sturdy closed-toed shoes, blue jeans or cargo pants, we'll provide a t-shirt for you and you bring your own head covering. So there's not really a cost for you to get involved in the June mission. And many of our missions will be like that, but there are missions where we want to be identified as a unit, as a team, and you need to have the boots, the pants, the shirt, the jacket, and that's around $100 of uniform stuff. So outside of that, there are no dues. We try to make all of our trainings that we do free or low cost. If we include a meal, we'd give you an option of including a meal at the training. The meal for the mission in June is covered by the Florida Orlando fire department. So there's no cost for the meal there. There's no cost for the parking. Like, we would cover those expenses for you because you'd be part of the mission team. So to participate in missions, there's not a cost. For this one, if it's a mission where we're going to help in California with forest fires, then there's probably a cost of a flight and cost of other stuff. But usually they'll sustain you, meaning they'll give you a place to stay. They'll give you food while you're there in exchange for your volunteer service. So that's what I got for you tonight. I've seen some of the chat questions. I don't think I missed anything. Again, if you're ready to take the next step, go to the website. It's posted in the chat. Click on the Join MCC, get that ball rolling, and then just let us know which side you would like to serve on the, just give me the alerts for the missions, or yeah, I think this might be something I want to get more involved in and do more. The question about where this video will be, I'll send it to Kendra. I'll also post it on our website. So it will be posted on our website so you can review it, or you can send it to somebody and forward it. I'll put it in YouTube so it will be available to anyone. All right. Very good. Any other questions before we wrap up for tonight? I'm really excited that you've come on. Thank you for your perseverance. And sorry about the glitch with the email or the link for the Zoom meeting, but glad that we got it through. Yeah, let me give someone an email address. So I'm typing.
I am sending a follow-up email to everyone here tonight when we finish, just as I did with the first group. And in that email, I have Pastor Pedro's email address where you can contact him.
Perfect. And Kendra, if I could ask you to pause that just a little bit to give me time to download the YouTube video or upload it and then send you that link. Could we do that?
Sure.
Okay, very cool. Hey, I'm excited to hopefully one day meet you and look you in the eyes and see your face and see who we're dealing with. But thank you for this time. I know your time is valuable, and we are excited to provide a venue and a format to get you on the other side of that caution tape, to get you where you can do the greatest good, to help people when they're in their biggest need, and you get to show up to be your best. We're excited to connect all that together. And through your college, through your university, Kendra's got where this helps you with your service hours that you got to do, and she's going to work with your professors. So it's almost like killing two birds with one stone, right? How much better could it get? And if you did come by see us when we were at the drive-thru, we even gave you a Cliff Bar. So, I mean, we even fed you a little bit. So how much better could it get? And
we have a question in the chat. Are the events just limited to military individuals?
Oh, no, absolutely not. And this isn't a military organization. It uses military structure and military terminology, but this is not military. This is, I mean, there's physical training, but it's not at the level of we're yelling at you in your face and telling you you're worm meat and you better do better. No, that's not the environment. This is more of a team environment where we use structure. And here's one thing that I do want to say. There is a small moment of like drilling and all that. Why? Because if you have 200 people together and you want them to get organized, one of the best ways to do that is yell, fall in, right? And everybody comes and gets in a row and gets in a line, and then you can have a meeting. So we'll use that kind of structure just to be organized, but not to have the discipline like the military where we're yelling at you and doing all that. Yeah, similar to Pathfinders. This is actually something that if you are of that background and you are an Adventist, Seventh-day Adventist, and you have history with Pathfinders, this is an opportunity for you as a young adult to be able to do good and use what you learned as a Pathfinder and use what you learned through medical training through AHU and actually put it to use just because you want to serve, just because you want to make the world a better place. So we're excited to have you consider this and to say, hey, this is for me. Hey, I love it. Perfect. I'll fit right in. We're excited as well. My name is Pedro. I put my email there. Kendra will send it to you again in there. Yeah, we won't try to make you cry. If you carry a litter, they are going to make you carry a 50-pound bag of dirt and another bale of hay. So your arm might hurt after that. You might feel like crying. But guess what? When you got to lift some 200-pound guy, you're going to be glad that you got some training and some practice, and you're going to need that. So we're excited because we want to create this system, this MCC team, this MCC family, that when disasters strike or when communities need help, government agencies will know we've got a team of reliable volunteers that have gone through the training, they've gone through the certification, they're recognized. Like FEMA and CERT are government recognized, United States recognized things. This isn't just us making things up or trying to create our own thing. We can actually show up at a thing, show our certification and say, I know how to do these things. And they'll say, we need you here, here, and here. And I don't know what can be more exciting than that. Like actually jumping in when people are in a big mess and helping them feel some hope, right? And feel like their life's going to be better. So that's where we are. Thank you again for your time. Watch for the email from Kendra, and I'll put that video up to you, Kendra, here tonight. So thank you again to everyone. Did I miss anything else in the chat, or anybody else want to come at me with anything else?
I think so. I think we covered everyone's questions. It looked like we did.
Yeah, Rossini said her dad trained soldiers. So man, that's great. We'd love to have you help us get trained. That's good.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Anytime. All right. Very cool. Well, again, it'll be fun to actually see you and meet you one day. Thank you for your interest, and whatever we can do through my email, go to the website, join MCC. That'll generate a new email, give you a new contact person to work out all the details to get registered.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.